Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. I know it takes a little while for people to catch up getting live on here with me. But we are going to be doing some reading sprints today. I have not done reading sprints in a while. It feels like, when was the last time that we did reading sprints? Oh, goodness. January? Something like that, like around my birthday, I want to say, was probably the last time we did reading sprints. And it's just because life life has happened. Everything got crazy. I mean, I feel like ever since both kids started school like last year, because it was their first year of school, we've been sick every couple weeks or so, um, for a while. And so we have not had reading sprints in a while. Oh, good. Yay. Hello, hello. Welcome. Yeah, this is like the first time I've done reading sprints since like I said, I think January around my birthday because I've been planning them every single month, trying to get them like at least once a month, and every single time I end up planning reading sprints, someone is sick. I think last month I had strep. There was no way I was going to talk on camera. Month before that was probably like Presley. He was sick recently too, but he's better now. He's at school. So I am ready, excuse me, to do some reading sprints. So it's just, yes, I mean, both of my kids, this is their first year of school in general at all. Because like Presley was born before the COVID lockdown, but like he was 6 months old with like when that started. So he just like never went anywhere for so long. And I stay at home with the kids. So I was perfectly fine with him staying home, being with me, all that kind of stuff. And then now it's preschool and he needed preschool. And then Elliot is just like, she is somebody who does really thrive like going out and doing stuff with kids. So she's only a couple days a week, but they literally come home and make everybody sick like every couple weeks. It's ridiculous. Like I'm done with this. I'm hoping now that we're getting into like more, I want to say summer weather, even though I know technically it's spring, but I live in Arizona. It's already going to be like 90 something degrees today. Um, yeah, I'm hoping we're basically done with this. Okay, yeah, Presley turns 5 August 1st. He was supposed to be like a July 31st baby and just like barely eked out not doing it in July. So yeah, he'll be 5 in August, August 1st. Excuse me. I just had breakfast and I decided to have peanut butter and apples, and I'm just like, now I that was probably not the best the best option. It always makes me feel a little bit phlegmy because of the fact that like we're always constantly getting over sickness. Yeah, see, look at that. Like we literally, what is the high? It's going to be in the 90s. Last week was in the 90s here too, which I don't know the exact, you know, translation into Celsius. Like, but I know like the hundreds is like closer to the 40s for you guys. But yeah, it's supposed to be 93 today. It's already 72. So yeah, just the fact that people can have, it's still like almost winter feeling, and we're already over like it's summer. It's March, or I was gonna say it's March. It's April, and it feels like summer. So, like I said, we are gonna do some reading sprints because I have missed this. I have missed doing this. I just finished a book recently. Um, yeah, yeah. I think the lowest Arizona gets is, or at least in the Phoenix, Arizona part, I've seen like 40s ish, and like we've had a couple like very like random like cold snaps recently, like over winter where it gets closer to freezing, which is like 32 degrees Fahrenheit, but still not, and it's barely there. Like we barely get that. So yeah, nice weather in the 60s. I would love to have 60s here. Like we live in Arizona. We don't want to stay in Arizona in general. Both my husband and I are like, we would rather be somewhere a little bit more north, like maybe like in the Washington region, because we actually really love more mild temperatures, and the fact that like it rains. It hardly ever rains here unless it like monsoons and storms, and even then it's still sort of hot and humid. We don't really like that as much. So like Arizona is not the best. Yeah. See, I know that one, and then I guesstimate everything else. It's because it's like a weird like 5/9 like equation that I'm just like I can guesstimate a lot of stuff, but at least that one I know. Um, so yeah, I finished a book recently, so I'm going to be starting a new book today. Um, I'm going to be reading for the Autism Acceptance Readathon, which is the one that I'm co-hosting this month. And I've been really bad. Not really bad. Like I just feel like I haven't been as into books recently, and I think it's more just because of people being sick and like all that just sort of like we've been taking it slower this month, which is not a bad thing. But I recently finished an arc that also fit for the Autism Acceptance Readathon, which was Late Bloomer by Maisie Eddings. I gave it 4 stars. It was a sapphic romance. It did have the autism representation on page. It just had some more of the like, let's have sex without actually having like the romance build up first, which is not my favorite like way to develop a romance, but in general, it just came out this last Tuesday, so it's a new book that I feel like a lot of people might want to look into. And then I think I'm going to be picking up I think this is my one for the like the host recommendation. Um, so we have The Book Eaters by Sunyi Dean. This was the one that MJ um recommended, and I've had it for a while. This is like the Illumicrate edition. Like I've had it for a while. I've been wanting to read it. It does not look too thick, which is great. And it's a physical book, which I have not been reading as many this year. I've been like reading double the amount of ebooks this year as physical books. And so I just figured both kids are at school today. I'm allowed to do reading sprints. I'm going to try and pick up a physical book since I haven't been doing it as much. This should also have autism rep on page. This author is an autistic author who has come out and said that as well. And so I know the main character is a mother, and it's supposed to be like a darker, more maybe gothic sort of story. So we'll see about this one. Hello, hello, welcome. Um, Reading Sin Bin. It's a hockey romance, really into romance right now. DNF'd the reappearance of Rachel Price this morning. Okay, so, okay. I'm not into sports in real life, but I do really appreciate some sports romance. So I'll be curious to see um, how you're doing with that one. But it looks like, I mean, you're into romance right now, so hopefully it's going good. And then the reappearance of Rachel Price, is that like the YA series, or is it not the series, but like the author that did all the different I'm trying to think of the author right now, but it had all the like the really popular, more thrillery YA ones. Like I feel like I can picture this book in my head, but I can't remember the author. I'd be curious to see why you DNF'd, but I haven't been reading as much YA recently either. So curious about the book eaters requested it from the library, but then chose to cancel for a while. I've definitely done that before. Definitely had a few different things where I'm like, "Oh, I really wanna read this," and then by the time it comes in or something, I'm like, maybe not, we'll see later." I have not started this one yet, so we will be, figuring out how the beginning of this goes on stream today. So many books to read this month, at least 1 book for autism acceptance. Yeah, I have so many things, like, we have magical readathons going on right now too, and I don't have too much overlap for most of the books that I have for either readathon, but because I'm co-hosting the Autism Acceptance Readathon, and I feel like I've only read 1 major book for that, like, that's what I'm prioritizing today at least, so that's what we're doing here. Um, we'll see how this one goes, because yeah, I don't know too much about this one except for that MJ loves it, so yes, yeah, the Murgirl books, sure. Yes, okay, yeah, exactly. I have heard of those, have not read them. I've heard really good things about like the first couple in this series, and then I've heard mixed things about other ones. And apparently, at least for you, the most recent one didn't really work. So that's stuff happens. Reading the Kiss Quotient. Okay. I have read that one previously, and I know a lot of people really love those ones. So if it's your first time reading it, I'll be very curious to see what you think. Okay. So I think we've been on here for about 10 minutes now. We can probably get started soon on some sprints. Similar to Good Girls Guide, but not. Really 40% in, DNF'd, 5 survive. I'm assuming 5 survive just based on this is also another one of those. So, okay. Yeah, maybe it's just I've definitely done that with books before where I'm like, I think I want to continue, but it's more like, yeah, you're just sort of bored. You're not like really into it. Those, for me personally, are the hardest ones to DNF because I always am like, but what if? I'm like, I'm not hating it, but what if? And I'm just like, I have to realize sometimes that trying to force myself to read a book that's just like, eh, usually puts me into a reading slump because of that. And I need to stop. That's like the hardest things to DNF for me. I'm not sure if I know what OSA is. Let me know if that is something that I'm supposed to know about. Or maybe not supposed to know about, but like I feel like that could be something obvious and I just don't know what it is. But yeah, magical readathon. I have 5 prompts for that and I read one really early this month. So I'm like about 1 and 1 on both readathons this month. Just because I haven't been reading as much stuff. I'm also doing the read along for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and so we're in the middle of the 4th book right now, and I actually have started that. That's my audiobook, so I'm listening to it in the car. Old School April. I don't think I've heard of that one. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, no, I those that's how I get into slumps the most, I feel like, is not like necessarily, oh, I don't want to read, or I know some people get into slumps because they just finished a really, really good book, but like mine seem to feel like almost like I'm reading a mediocre book or a book that I'm not necessarily like, it's not necessarily my thing. And then I feel like I need to keep going because it could be good. But if I really don't want to, it's just like that mindset. That's when I start to slump. Okay, so that is also very valid. I like readathons, but I feel like a lot of the month-long ones start to get a little complicated for me. Like I think I prefer a week where it's like a challenge of maybe a few prompts and I can really, really focus on like that amount of time. Anything that's like longer than that, it's hit or miss, which is why I feel like I've only done like one prompt for each readathon for this whole month so far, and we're already halfway through. So I mood read a lot, even though I have a TBR and a TBR game. We just sort of pick up the books as they come. You know, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, yeah. Let's start some sprints. I'm gonna say let's start for like a good 30-minute chunk, just because I feel like that should be able to at least get me into this book, and then we can sort of see how we're feeling with like the first bit of all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna say, just based on the clock here, that we're probably getting into like we'll say like 29. I'm just gonna round up. We're gonna go until 30. Excuse me. I'm like getting over whatever Presley had previously. I feel like I still have like a little bit of a cough, but we're technically fine. Okay. Yeah, let's round up. We'll just read until 30, and then we'll come back and just sort of see what we're feeling about our stuff. Let's do that. Okay, hello, hello. We are coming back from the first sprints. So, first of all, this is the book from Under the Dust Jacket because it is the Illumicrate edition, which I really do love that they have like stuff printed under the dust jacket. So this is The Book Eaters by Sunyi, and I got to page 31. So far so good. The pacing of it is really nice, and we do have two different timelines here. We have like a present day with the mother Devon and her son Kai, and then we've had one whole chapter, and then I'm in the middle of the next one where it's excuse me, in the past. So like the first chapter that was in the past was like when she was 8, and this second chapter when we're in the past is when she's about 12. That's where we're really getting more of like the actual like book eater aspect, and like it is literally they eat books. Like I find it very interesting, and so far they haven't like had anything that's like overly flowery language, but also nothing that's very like here's the bluntness of it. So we are getting this in bits and pieces that I'm really enjoying, though. And then the present day stuff is more about her trying to take care of her son, who is not exactly a book eater. He is a mind eater, and we don't 100% know the full aspect of that either, but I really am liking it so far. And again, I'm only about 30 something pages in, but we will read more today, obviously, and get into that more. But I'm really liking that aspect. Um, let's see. Okay, so this was from before we started reading sprints at 59% of your book. And then you're also working. Yeah, you are a very good multitasker. Every time we do sprints, you do seem to do multiple things and work and stuff like that. So that's always very impressive, and got to 64. I'm sorry I scared you, but yeah, got to 64%. That's very nice. And you got 44 pages. Very, very good. Try to scroll back up and see Kiss Quotient and the Sin Bin. Okay, yeah. Making sure I know what you guys are reading. Let me know if you guys are enjoying it if you want to. Um, but yeah, I think I don't want to get my hopes up too much with this book just because like I feel like I've had a couple things recently where I've been like really really excited, and then it just doesn't really work. Like I had a really highly anticipated release last month that I had an arc for that was like a sequel of a book that just did not work for me. Like the characters didn't work. I didn't like what was going on. I was so confused, and I ended up having to DNF it. And I was so sad about it, but it was like it was such a different book than the first book. Like it was more of like a companion sequel. But I had like it was supposed to be like it was like my highest anticipated book for like at least the first half of the year, and it didn't work. So I'm trying to like really temper expectations with a lot of my stuff right now. Um, but so far, so good. Oh, see that's a good thing. Already liking it, and so you're like pre-ordering the next one, or not, I guess not pre-ordering, but ordering the next one. I love when that happens, because that really means that you are excited for it, which is great. I'm actually looking up that one because I feel like I've heard the title, but oh, there's a couple different things called the Sin Bin for hockey. There's like at least two of them. Do you know the I mean, I'm sure you do. What author are you reading? Just because I'm curious which one it currently is. Second one is out, third one is not. Okay. I mean, I know some people are really like, "Oh no, that's too much pages for a romance or whatever." I don't mind as long as it's written well. We're all good. Okay. Okay, so the first one that's popping up on Goodreads. That makes sense. Oh, it's such a cute cover too. Yeah, see, reading sprints and stuff like this, well, not even just reading sprints, booktube in general, I feel like I watch stuff and I always end up putting way too many things on like my TBR or my want to read list on Goodreads. Like this is an issue that I'm sure I'm not the only one that has, but I'm just like, "Yeah, what are we reading? Let me see." Old cover was just a hockey stick and a puck. Okay. Yeah, I'm like, because like again, I feel like I had heard of this before, but this cover, at least that's showing up on Goodreads, was not one that I had seen before. Okay, yeah, I feel like the original, I guess it was like the original color cover, that looks more like what I remember. But I like the one that shows up on the Goodreads when I pull that up. It's very cute. That yeah, it's adorable. Okay. So I guess if nobody has anything else they want to say right now, I think we're going to try and jump into some more book stuff or work stuff because I'm currently in the middle of a chapter and I hate having to do that. But hey, hey, welcome, welcome. We are probably going to be starting our next sprint soon. I'm in the middle. I just started. I just started the Book Eaters and I'm in the middle of a chapter right now. So I think we're gonna start those soon. But if you want to let us know what you're reading or if you have any plans to read, I know some of us are also working and things like that as we're going through. Oh, nice. School vacation. Is this like a spring break for you guys right now? Or I know you guys are across the country, and so sometimes timing of stuff work doesn't like it's not exactly the same. Like I know here in Arizona, schools usually start like beginning of August. And so we had spring break vacation stuff last month. And then they'll get done end of May just because then it gets way too hot. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, spring break. That's nice. So, yeah, I think we're gonna try not to, I hope that wasn't like too loud. I hit the microphone with the book. Sorry, guys. Um Yeah, I think we're going to start with another reading sprint because like I said, I'm in the middle of a chapter and I'm always that person that's like I hate stopping in the middle of a chapter. And so we will do that in just a second. Spring break at Easter time. Okay, so that was like at the very end of March. Yeah, it's always so interesting. I guess it's nice like if you're planning on like going somewhere for spring break that like people do have it a little bit different. And like even here in Arizona, even when we have like, oh yeah, most schools start beginning of August sometime, the breaks don't necessarily equal the exact same ones. Like my son and my sister, because they live with us, my parents and my sister live with us, they have different schools, obviously. And they did actually share the same spring break this year, but fall break and winter break were a little bit off. So like she had winter break like the week before Christmas and then going into Christmas and like went back to school like the very first day after New Year's. I think because it was like New Year's was like Monday or whatever and she went back on Tuesday. My son had winter break starting like right before Christmas because it was part of the weekend or whatever, and then went through a whole nother week in January. But then I think they're basically ending school around the same time. Like they just have to have a certain number of days in school versus breaks. And so depending on that, things get a little bit weird. They have the same spring break, but I know she also had extra days at Thanksgiving that my son didn't. So, you know, whatever. But I'm glad we are on break for you right now, Nikki, so I'm sure you're enjoying that. Decided to take the 29th off this month for no reason other than coworker went to Mexico and working through your usual Friday off. I mean, hey, go for it. Yeah. Take some vacation time. I know um my dad right now is trying to like they're switching over companies at the place that he works for. And he's like waiting to hear back on if he's going to be transferred through them or if he's going to have to find another job. And so, no matter what, in a couple weeks, there's going to be like you either are switching to a whole nother company in this like structure or you don't have a job. So, he has some days lined up for PTO and he's like, okay, so I would like to take like 2 days off. And his boss is like, why do you want to take time off? And it's like, literally, he's either not going to have a job or he's not going to work for you anymore. So, like, why are you being a pain in the butt about it? Like, it's just, So crazy. Interesting. I hardly ever hear about news like this, especially like other countries and stuff, unless like we had, stuff here. I know we had a couple years ago. There was an Arizona one with teacher stuff, and it was near the end of the year, and I think it was just like it went through like going into summer, and I think it was about payments and like salaries and things like that. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, you definitely like yeah. If you don't have enough teachers because they're striking, you can't really send your kids to school. Okay, we're at 9:40 my time. If we do another 30, we should be able to do another 30 after that as well. So let's do that. Read until it's now 41. So we'll just, yeah, we'll say, gotta do this. So it's like 11. We'll just say 15. We're going to round it up. We're going to read until 15. There we go. Let's do that. Let's jump back into books or work or whatever else we need to do. I rounded up a little bit. We'll read until 15, and then we should be able to do probably like one more sprint after that before I have to go get Presley from preschool. Okay, so we are back. I tried to talk, my microphone was off. These headphones do that to me every so often, but basically just saying, hey, we're back. Let me know what you guys have been reading, how far you got, if you would like, whether you're liking stuff. And then let's, I guess, while we're waiting for some of these things to come in here, I will update a little bit more on this book. I'm about 64, 65% in pages in. Psh. I think that was because I was looking over here and somebody has typed percent. We will get to that too. I'm on Act 2 now, so I haven't started Act 2. I paused because um, I get like little notifications from Elliot being in school, little pictures or little updates about like, what kind of snack she had and that kind of stuff. So I was looking at that. Um, but I've officially gotten to Act 2, and I feel like this book is going to be a very sort of hard one for people to talk about more than like what I've already said about how like the book eating in this world is very like they're literal with it. Like she actually eats books. And I really like the way that this is described that way. And we do have the sort of mother son dynamic in some of the chapters because we do have, like I said, the different. I was going to say points of view, not points of view, timelines. We have like a present day and then in the past, and it sort of alternates every chapter or so. Normally, that's not a thing that I really like, different timelines, but I think because this author has done a really good job so far of like really ending each chapter at a good part before we either jump back into the past or back to like the present. I am really liking that. Um, but, like, the actual plot line and stuff, I still am not 100% sure I know exactly where this book is gonna go, but we are dealing with the book eater aspect and this mother trying to help her son. In the present day, they're not really with the other book eaters, and in the past they are, so there's something that we haven't really gotten to yet about, like, why that's happening. Um and the only other thing that I've, like, thought about while I was reading this that I really wanted to talk about is the fact that, like, the son in this is 5. Now, some authors are horrible with writing kids, like, they just don't feel like kids. And I will say this kid does not feel like a kid. However, there is an explanation for that in this story. And because it is pretty much told to us when we're first introduced to him, like right away, I have never been mad at it. So, like, I really appreciate the way the sort of like lore and fantasy, different sort of like book eater aspect comes into this and explains why this 5-year-old is not exactly a 5-year-old. Because, yeah, sometimes kids are like, or authors or books are like, here's a kid and they're supposed to be 4 or 5, and my son's 4, like, we're right around that age, and I know not all the kids are the same, but, like, sometimes they just sound like they're 8, 9, 10, and it's just like that is usually a big thing with me. This kid does not feel 5, but there is an explanation for it, and so I'm really, really curious to get more into this, because, like I said, it does have that dual timeline sort of aspect, and because of that, I really don't know what the end goal of this is. But I am really enjoying the writing style and the characters and the sort of like way that they are talking about the book eaters. So like I'm very happy about that. Um Lucky enough to teach at a school where your administration was awesome, super understanding and supportive. That's great. I don't know if I haven't really mentioned it on this channel much, but I used to work at a school back before I started this channel and everything like that. And I was more in the Title One where I took small groups out. Um, and I have had like both where some of the administration was like super amazing. And then it was a charter school. And so some we did also have sometimes where it was very much like the parents could do no wrong, the kids could do no wrong, and the teachers just had to deal with it. And so I've seen both. And so I'm so happy that you have like a good supportive administration because sometimes, yeah, they're not focused on making the school and the teachers like the best that it can be. So I'm very happy about that for you. Oh, you're 71% in now. Great, great. Completely understandable. Like I said, I feel like you are amazing at doing the like actual like working. and reading and doing reading sprints, like multitasking. Great. Currently reading Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth and have 81 pages left. Okay. I don't know if I've heard of that one. Anything that I don't know about for sure, I look it up to see. So since sounds like you're almost done, unless this is a very, very short book, how are you liking it? Is this something that you think is going good for you? Ooh. Okay, I've never seen this cover before, so definitely not something that I think I've seen. Sisters, Secrets, Love, and Murder. Interesting. How is that doing? 30 more pages. Oh yeah, definitely. Like time zones can do that. Like I'm at like 10 a.m. I'm gonna go pick up my kid from school soon. But yeah, enjoy your dinner. Thank you for showing up. Oh, okay, book of the month book. Okay. Nice. So far so good. Good. It looks like to me that this is probably more of like a sort of like mystery thriller sort of thing. So I'm sure you're going to know what you think about this book as you get closer to the end because that's when those reveals are going to start happening, right? I mean, that's how I feel with those kind of books is like it could be completely good and then like that ending is going to really tell you like how you feel about it. So, well, that's good. Oh, okay. I have read Horrid. And I gave it 5 stars back in the day. I think I have it still over here somewhere. Um, I think the vibes of like the writing style could definitely do that, but I feel like personally, I feel like Horrid was not as like fantastical almost in my like from what I'm remembering. Like I read it back when it first came out, so I could be completely wrong about that one. Um, but I feel like the vibes of it, like the actual like yeah, the way that it's written and that could definitely be, but I feel like this one and it could also just be because it is more adult where we're following, like, an actual mother compared to Horde was, like, the YA. I feel like this one has more, like, fantastical elements, but the vibes and stuff. Yeah, books and pages, I mean, yeah, I definitely feel like they're not, like, exact comps. But I think if you liked Torrid, you probably would like this. I'm trying to again not like 100% say, "Oh, I think this is going to be a certain star book yet" because I'm only 60 something pages in and I'm not entirely too sure what rating I would give it. However, I do know that I'm actually really enjoying the writing style and like where it's going. So I think that'll definitely be something that I can keep an eye out for just to like double check because I gave Horrid 5 stars back in the day. So I really did like that one. Um, and I'm currently really liking the way that this is going, especially since, like I said, I mentioned like the dual point of view timeline, not point of view, dual timelines, and the fact that we do have a kid that's not acting like a kid. Like there are certain aspects in here that normally I would not like as much, but so far the way the author is doing it, it's really good. Like I'm really impressed with the way that it's been crafted so far. Um, and this was MJ's pick for the Acceptance Readathon, which I would hope that like if people are reading some of our recommendations that people are enjoying them in some way. Um, at least, in some way, because I know not everybody has the same taste, but so far, so good. Okay. Getting close to 10:25 actually. So actually, I think we will get into one more reading sprint because after that, I will have to go pick up Presley from preschool. I usually have to leave here by 11-ish. I can be a little bit late, but let's do that because I definitely want to try like one more reading sprint, get a little bit further in. So we will read till let's just say it's 55 because that'll be like another half hour and that should be enough time for us to finish all that kind of stuff here. Okay, so yeah, you're only about 1 hour ahead of me. That's not too bad. Yeah, Presley gets picked up around 11:20, and so like I have to have time to go get him, and then we will do lunch when we get home too. So nice. Okay, yeah, let's read until 55. Do like one more little check-in after that, and then I will have to stop and go pick up Presley. But let's do that. Okay, so we have hit 55, and this is going to be the last little check-in before I need to go get Presley from preschool. So let me know how you've gotten to if you would like. I am page 95. Coughing has hit me recently because I think I mentioned at the beginning of this, we were sick recently. Don't know what it was. Everything was negative test-wise, and it's just really irritated and getting to me right now. I think it's because we've been talking a little bit. So we are going to wrap this up soon. I'm on chapter 12 now, page 95. I will say I'm curious for, and I probably will look this up later, reviews of people who are not mothers or maybe parents even as well. Um, reading this because I just got through a part that was very like mother like pregnancy a little bit like the giving birth, having a baby, and like some of those kind of feelings. And I know it wasn't like a very big part, but it was definitely something that I liked the way it was portrayed in here. But I am curious to see like how much more of that is going to play into this, and also how much maybe other people either like or didn't really care about that kind of stuff, because our main character is a mother, and I think that was one thing that I remember MJ saying about this book back when they first read it, is that it's a big part of it. Also, because I'm at chapter 12, we're getting into some more stuff into this book that again I'm not going to necessarily get into because it's very hard to explain, but we've taken a turn that I'm very curious to see where it's going to go. So far I'm really really liking this one. Excuse me. Oh nice, 77% going to finish this one today. That's always good when you can tell that you're going to like get through something by the end of the day. I don't think I'm going to finish this one today. I'm probably about a third of the way through, but hopefully soon because I'm really liking it. 39 pages. Nice, nice. That's a good amount. Um, every day about 11:30 to 12 would lay down, have a fever, body aches, take some Tylenol, have a nap, and perfectly fine after. Yeah, I don't know. We were dealing with, so like Elliot had a little bit of a fever Wednesday night, last Wednesday. Um, went to sleep, had it like overnight, woke up with it a little bit, and usually has school Tuesdays, Thursdays, so obviously didn't go to school on Thursday. Perfectly fine after that. A little bit of a runny nose, but like no fever, nothing. Presley caught whatever she had Friday after school. Like he came home from school on Friday with a fever, but he had been previously perfectly fine. And then he was dealing with a fever on and off until Tuesday. We actually went to the doctor on Monday. He stayed home from school Monday, Tuesday. Um, all the tests are negative: flu negative, COVID negative, strep negative, like everything was negative. No ear infections, nothing. Just probably some virus, who knows? And he was like taking naps every day, even though he usually doesn't take naps. I've never had a fever, but I have now had like a little bit of, probably, I think it's postnasal drip, truthfully, a little bit of nose stuff, and it just sort of tickles. And so then I cough. And I have asthma, so sometimes that coughing stuff just takes me out. Um, but whatever it is, he had no fever at all yesterday, and he just needed to get at least 24 hours worth of no fever, no medicine sort of stuff in order to go back to school. He doesn't have school on Wednesdays, so he was able to go back today. And he's very, I don't want to say very happy about it, but he is definitely much more himself, more energetic, and actually seemed to be okay with the fact that like he was going to go to school again. So I'm very happy about that. Might put it a hold and hold again. Hey, whatever you need to do, I've done that too for sure. Oh, yay, only 42 pages left. Yeah, we're definitely not going to have any more reading sprints right now, but I feel like if you wanted to finish that, you probably could as well. That's very, very exciting. Okay, well, we're hitting about 11 o'clock. So I am, like I said, going to have to wrap things up so I can go pick him up from school. And hopefully today at school was pretty good because it was his first day at all this week because he's been sick. And every so often, school is just like hit or miss with him. Um, and so hopefully today was good. It usually is once he gets there. And so thank you everyone for stopping in. I'm going to try and have some more reading sprints within the next, I want to say, 2 to 3 weeks. We'll try and see. If anything, around this time next month. I try to do them at least once a month, but we know stuff happened in the last February and March. Like I just haven't been able to do reading sprints because of kids and stuff. But I really enjoy them, and I got like almost 100 pages into this book without having to deal with kids, which is honestly amazing. So again, thank you all for being here. I will see you guys in the next one. So bye.